Okay, good morning. I always say it's a great day in God's neighborhood. Give yourself a big hand. And welcome to the Family Cafe. As I said before, we want to be able to encourage, empower, and to also give you a motivation to go to a whole new level of excellence. And I just want to say as well, welcome to the Dads and Men's Cafe. Yes. You know, guys, when we have our own special place in our homes, a place where we can find peace, where we can relax. It's called Man's Cave. Y'all know about the Man's Cave? It's already called, yes, it's also called the bathroom. And make sure that you lock it. Today, once again, I'm Bob Streeter of Team Streeter Seminars and Services, LLC, based in Tallahassee, Florida. And a division of our company and our business, we have a subsidiary called Extreme Faith. And what that is basically is workshops for men empowerment, also in family empowerment, and also youth and entrepreneurship. So we do the whole gamut of various workshops to really inform and encourage folks like yourself to never, never give up. And it's delighted to be here with you today. Not only that we have a global audience, they'll be putting this information across the globe via the internet. So if anybody in the work release program or witness protection, we'll make sure that we don't put you on video, okay? Everybody's cool. We're going to talk about practical tips. Now, I'm going to do this. Who in the house has been married, I'll say, 1 year? Any newlyweds? Okay, let's do it this way. 1 to 5 years by show of hands. Okay? 5 to 10 years that's been married. Okay. 10 to 20 years. All right. 20 to 30 years. Woo. Okay. Why do y'all just raise your hand and don't have a smile on your face? Okay. 20 to 30 years. Did I just say 20 to 30? Okay, this is a big one. 30 to 40 years. All right. Let me give you a high five. Okay. Sir, how many years? 30 years. Okay. 35. Wow, congratulations. Well, I've been married for 32 years straight, and this year will be 33 years. And I am so excited about this particular workshop because it's an opportunity to really encourage dads. I was talking to a young lady that was before we did the start, and I said, what one word that you would say is very valuable in a marriage or in a relationship? And she thought for a while, and then she came up with the word commitment. You know, commitment. The gentleman just said he'd been married over 30 years. I believe there have been times when there have been ups and downs, and now you're at a time where you just agree with one another and just go with the flow once you get to the 30-mile mark. For 30 milestone, because my wife is watching this. 30-year milestone. And to be able to get there, it takes a lot of loving tenacity. And I'm excited today as a dad that my son is here. And my son, I tell you, he is superior with his gift of ingenuity. He's in the music business. He's kind of watching Dad, so one day he'll say, Dad, take a seat, I got this. And I tell you, he's a sharp young man, he's an entrepreneur, and I'm so proud to have him as my son. So let's give a big hand for my son, Ramon Emmanuel Streeter. Yes. And he has his brothers and sisters. Ramon is a twin. His brother's name, Richard. Richard is a dad, 4-year-old, so that makes me a Grand P. I'm known as Grand P. As well as my daughter has a son, and I'm known as Grand P. That sounds cool, right? Grand P. I'm Grand P. I look good for 62. But it's all about relationships. We're talking about right now the value that you bring into a relationship. And you may say, well, I've been in a relationship, I've been in a marriage, it didn't work out, but now I kind of want to recalibrate and kind of move up the road and see what the end's going to be. So I want to encourage all of you to know that in this workshop, we are not trying to degrade it. We're not trying to talk about all the ills of a relationship, but to give you practical tips that you can really implement into your life, into your relationship. Everybody knows the alphabet, right? When you first started, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? A, appreciate. And real quickly, I had left some information. And what I want to do real important that you start your day with a positive affirmation. There's a sheet, and you see in bold letters, true. I want you to pull out your sheet right now. See the sheet? And it has true in the corner. Everybody got that? Now, the folks next door said I was playing my music loud, and, you know. Anyway, is that my music or their music? Yeah. Yeah, because I'm going to start pumping my music up. I want y'all to fall asleep. Anyway. Okay. Positive. It's very important in a relationship. I'm going to build the foundation real quick, and then we're going to just go to the stratosphere. We're going to be talking about some things, and like I said, you're in the man's cave. And ladies, if I say something that hit a chord, and you say, yeah, that's right, Bob, just stand there, calm, cool, collective, you know, because this is a sponge meeting. Just like you have water, a sponge absorbs whatever it needs to be, okay? Starting off your day. Now, basically, I'm a share. I'm a man of faith because to be able to be in a marriage for over 30 years, it's my faith. For my wife to put up with me for 30 years, it's her faith. But I believe if you start your day on a positive note, it really helps you go to a whole new level. So what we're going to do is we're just going to read this, and that's it. I'm not going to preach on it, but we're just going to get that positive affirmation in the atmosphere, as they said, as we communicate. As you're listening to me, there are waves from my voice to your ears for you to receive what I am saying. So is that okay? Let's start. Whatever things are true. Let's try that again. Repeat after me. This is my affirmation for this day. This is my affirmation for the day. Let's read. Whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things of good report, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. Give yourself a big hand. A publication here, 26 Healthy and Marriage Relationships. The reason I call each of you champions, because number one, I like that dramatic music in the back. Number one is that for you to be able to get up with the consciousness to say, I want to be in a session to improve my relationship, or I want to be in a session that can empower me to get some tips that I can be able to deal with that significant other or deal with the one I may be married to or interested in being married to. And at the same time, to be able to know that there's value in relationship. We have to learn to value one another. We have to learn to listen to one another. And from A to Z, we're going to start off with A. How many know that it's very important to be appreciated in a relationship? Show your hands. How many think it's very important to be appreciated in a relationship? Now, I'm talking to men. Men, you know, Mother's Day is like the Super Bowl for Hallmark. It really is. I was in a store in Tallahassee, and there was a mother with a child, and the child said, I want to give my dad a card. And the mother said, well, you know, just go ahead and get any card. Hurry up, I got to go in and get some milk. And I was thinking in my mind, where's the love? I mean, on Mother's Day, it's just like, hey, if Jesus was born on Mother's Day, he serious competition. Because, and don't get me wrong, I honor my mother, I honor my wife. And the thing is with men, sometimes we have to say things and do things that may not get the full approval in a relationship. You know, we can disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable, okay? But, A, listen to this. To appreciate each other and creatively find ways to let each other know just how much you care. You tell your man or your woman is one thing, but showing them is a whole different level. You ever heard that phrase, show me the love? For men, their love language may be doing things. You know, your spouse or your significant other say, well, you never tell me that I love you. And the man that had been married for many years say, well, nothing has changed. I still love you. And men, women love that romance. You know, to be able to whisper in the ear, you know, I did wrong. I didn't give you any attention during the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl with 2 minutes left. And when you came in the room and you asked me to go to Publix, and I was a little pronounced in my volume and my tone, but I love you very much. And, you know, and that soothes a lot of things as well. And that happened to me. What I'm about to share, things that happened to me during the Super Bowl. It was bad enough my Cowboys won in the Super Bowl. My wife gave it a, can you go down to Publix? 2 minutes, I'm watching the game. And I went, because the Cowboys weren't playing. But, for example, don't wait for a holiday to do something special. You know, make each day count. Guys, a give and a take. You know, give appreciation and it comes back. Ladies, if that man is showing his affection the best way that he can, thank him and say, I appreciate that. And when you say I appreciate that, don't add on. Don't you know the steps are kind of creaky and I need for you to fix the step, or the water is running over in the bathroom, but I love you, baby. You don't want to do that. B, how many know that in a relationship, particularly in a marriage, finances, when you start to talk about finances, this is like World War III. You know, you get to a point and you say, well, I'm working just like you working. This is my money. I don't know how that boat got in the yard. And the man said, well, is this a shoe store? How all these shoes get in here? And you go back and forth and back and forth. But you have to be able, B, to bounce ideas off of one another. You know, in my household, we have several checking accounts, savings accounts. All of them belong to my wife. What a deal, man. And to be able to say, okay, this particular account is for this particular account for that, and you say, play your strengths. If man, if you're a man and you're strong in finances, play to your strength. If you have a companion that's strong in finances, keeping things in order, play to your strength. If you say, well, I'm not married, well, the thing is that you acquire the skills that when you find that significant other person, you'll be able to bring something to the table and say, oh, I think I'm pretty good at accountability and everything. Let's communicate with one another. C, consequences. That's one C. But I want to talk about a powerful C, commitment. Commitment. Men, it takes a commitment in a relationship. The gentleman said he'd been married over 30 years, and I applaud him, but I believe that there was a standard of commitment, that I had made this vow, and I'm going to stick to this vow to the best of my ability. And a lot of people say, well, I've been in a relationship before, I'm divorced, I'm rebounding. I'm saying, I salute you. Life goes on. When I was traveling from Tallahassee here to Orlando, and when I got to Orlando, I thought I was in an Indianapolis 500 the way they were driving. I had to shift gears. I had to keep up. My son said, Daddy, you're driving too slow. I'm going to speed limit, 70 miles an hour. Cars just woof, woof, woof. And sometimes in a relationship that it may not have worked out, don't beat yourself up. Rebound. Move forward. Pick up some practical tips. And believe it or not, when you do the next go round, you learn. You know, who was it? Abel Gabor? She was married over, 12 years? And she said, well, I think I got the right man this time. So, C, commitment. D, now this is a big one, drama. How many of y'all have ever had drama in your relationship? Drama. You could be going fine in your relationship. You have a child with a special needs. You got a game plan. You're trying to do the best that you can. And here comes the big D. I'm not talking about Dallas because they disappoint me. But here comes the big D. Disappointment. And then what happens? Drama. How many of you ever got a telephone call from your, quote, friend? And they can say one thing, and your whole day is just like, why in the world did they say that? Anybody experienced that before? Come on, if they're sitting beside you, don't look at them. Just, kind of smile. You want to get the drama out, because everybody got their own opinion in their relationship. You want to get that drama out as quick as possible, because the more drama you get out of your relationship, the more you can have more compassion, you can have love for one another, and that's one less thing that's attacking your mind. You don't want to mess with the drama, okay? Next, where we at? E. Now, this is very important. Exercise. Take the time to take care of yourself. Nobody in here has a glorified body. Take the time to exercise. Anybody ever take time to exercise? Now, exercise means to walk. You can raise your hand. Now, you're a school teacher. You know how this is. You just raise your hand. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, take the time. If you have to walk in the park, you have to be able to listen to your favorite music or something encouragement, but take the time to exercise. E, exercise. Take care of yourself. Don't let the weight of the world be so heavy that it starts to affect your health. You don't want that. Can everybody say exercise? Exercise. And men, don't feel guilty taking care of yourself. Don't feel guilty. You can say, hey, baby, I got to step out for 5 minutes, because when I was growing up, I had relatives would tell their wife, well, I'm just going to go down the street and get a cigarette or get something to drink. And they didn't come back until 10 years later. So I want you to come back home. Come back home. Find that place of peace and come back home. Okay? But you got to exercise. Put that in your daily regimen. Take time for yourself. It's not selfish. It's not selfish. You say, whoa, I'm going to stop what's going on with this COVID and everything going on. I've been boxed up in the house for a while. I'm zoomed out. And I want to just take time to exercise and to be able to enjoy nature, to be able to connect. Because I tell you, there's nothing more dangerous than not be in good mental health. Because when you start, things of life start to affect your relationship because of mental health, that's when things start to go awry. Okay? So E, make sure that you exercise. Now, we get into the bread and the butter real quick. F, everybody say F. Forgiveness. Ooh, forgiveness. Learn to forgive one another. Why you want to talk about something that happened 2 weeks, 5 years, 10 years down the road? Learn to forgive one another. Forgiveness must be practiced in marriage and relationship in order for it to flourish. Listen to this. It is absolutely essential to fulfill the understanding and the power of forgiving one another. We all been hurt. With men, sometimes our tone is misconstrued, and you may be saying one thing in a certain tone, and it may be received in another tone, and that's T. And the ladies say, make sure, Mr. Streeter, that you talk about tone. Because men, when we are raising our children, we have to realize that each of our children are individuals. Like my son, Ramon, he's quiet. He has that soulless about himself. I can just say one thing and he does it. My other son, I have to say it 2 or 3 times. He's the son that we have with special needs. I still love him. There's no difference. And then there's times that when my wife and I'm going to break it down, I'm going to talk about me, all right, man? Sometimes you can get in that heated conversation, and as a man I'm thinking that if I raise my voice the loudest, I'm going to win this. I told you not to do this. Didn't I say this? Didn't I say that? Didn't I tell you that I was going to do it? You don't have to remind me. And my wife will say, the light is green. You're right. I told you it was going to change green eventually. Come on, folks. It's give and take. And I mean by give and take, you're like the gingerbread man for your children. You know that story about the gingerbread man, the kids who were trying to get back home. And what the gingerbread said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make a path. And what the gingerbread man did, he started to pull pieces of his body so the kids could make it home. And what we're about today in relationships, thank you for the applause. What we're about is that we are pulling pieces out of our lives every day. And particularly if you're a parent with a child with a special need. I know about that. I'm pulling out pieces of patience, pulling out pieces of compassion, pulling out pieces of sound communications, trying to make things work so that the legacy of our children and the legacy of your family and your family and your family will sustain whatever you're going through. And you have to be like that gingerbread man. You got to pull pieces out in your communications. You have to be able to say, baby, I'm wrong. I know I got heated. I know that I raised my voice. let's do this. Let's just slow down, hit the brakes, and let's recalibrate and see what we can do. And with that strategy, nobody's hurt. We're all growing together. Oftentimes, we think, failure, 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 failure. You never listen to me. Can't you hear me talking? You know, you go back and forth, back and forth. Can't you see I'm working every day trying to provide for the family? Can't you see? And the only thing you got to say when I come home is the sink broken. The only thing that you can say, and I'm working like you, I'm the woman, and the only thing you can say to me, what's for dinner? Ooh, somebody's head just went up real quick when I said that. Loving and nurturing one another. You know, it's a journey. And when you have a child with a special need, my wife and I went through storms in our family. And literally it could shook our children because of their days communication was heated. There were days that my voice would be heard 3 blocks down the street. I'm talking. And the thing was that you got to be able to say, I'm better than this. I'm going to step back. And when you do that and recalibrate, something wonderful, something sweet, something that you can never imagine before, you start to look at that person that you have made that vow. You start to look at that person that you have made that commitment for and say, look, we're going to make this happen because we're building something beautiful for our family. That's what we all want. You know, I've never been so nervous than my wedding day. Guys, you ever been nervous on your wedding day? How many of you guys, hey, I'm just being transparent. How many of you guys been nervous on your wedding day? Yeah. I was nervous, man, because I ain't never seen so many shotguns in my life. And it's like, does anybody, I mean, if there was someone in the audience to eject Robert Edward Streeter III, marrying Verna Nadine Davis, if they were spoken, her brothers would have took care of them. But another thing I want to talk to you guys, learn to laugh. Learn to laugh in your marriage. Learn to laugh in your relationship. It's enough that's going on. You can be so tense that you're mad at the world, you don't understand. And men, learn to laugh. I laugh. That keeps me going. That keeps me sustained. And when you start to laugh, you start to come up with a word that starts with an I. And that word that starts with an I, ingenuity. Does that start with an E or I? It's I? Thanks, because high school was the best 8 years of my life. Anyway. Ingenuity. And Bob, what are you talking about? Ingenuity in a relationship. Do things that are out of the box. You know, there's chaos going on and things are happening and you're hurt and she's hurt. Go out and say, look, you know what? Did something for my wife one time. I kind of set her up. And we had a heated conversation. She was mad. I was mad. I said, I'm going to get you. When you come home, you're going to see another woman in the bedroom. Yes. I did. And when she came home, that other woman was in the bedroom, and her name was Victoria's Secrets. Hello, somebody. Had that thing laid out with the roses on the bed. Yes, sir. And that's how Ramon got here. No, but You know, you're right. You got to do out-of-box things in a relationship. You got to be able to say, okay, I'm going to use that ingenuity to come in a whole different way, because at the end of the day, I love you, you love me, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And then you be able to connect with the word that starts with a J, joy. I have joy being a dad. Dad, find that joy. Find that joy in what you do. Find that joy that you are a dad that really cares about your children. You are a dad that gets putting your feet to the plow, getting your hands dirty, doing the things necessary. And a lot of people don't know this, but men can be compassionate. Men can be loving. Men can be able to be the ones that set the precedence in their home. Men, you can do it. You know, it's something when I was growing up in Richmond, Virginia, my dad, precious moments, he used to take me to the barber shop. Any of you men know about the barber shop? And in the barber shop, it was like free will from a man. A man can really, quote, let his hair down in the barber shop. They'd be laughing and joking and, you know, just having a wonderful time. And then when the woman walks in the barber shop, it's just like silence. Everybody's silent, right? Okay, she just dropped her child off. Okay. See you later, Miss Susie. Okay. She walks out the barber shop. Hey, man, and you know what, man? Those cowboys you talking about, who, you know, just having a good time. And we got ladies here because they always want to tune in and make sure that, well, I guarantee you, I'm driving back to Tallahassee, but if you're driving back, who's come from a far distance? Anybody farther west? Tell me, everybody in this area, where you come from, sir? Sir? Fort Lauderdale. Anybody? Miami? Yes, sir. Orange Beach County? Palm Beach. How many miles is that from here? Oh, man. So, if you were with your companion, gentlemen, I guarantee you. Now, we didn't ask them to come to this meeting. We're talking guy talk, okay? Ladies, you can put your hand on your ears. We're talking guy talk right now. Man, they're going to be in the car. Did you hear what Bob said about saying, I love you? Did you hear what Bob said about tone? You need to listen to Bob. Did you hear that? And you're just driving. And you're saying to yourself, please let this light turn green. Okay, ladies, you can take your hands off your ears. Hold on. That's probably my wife calling me. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Very good. She said good job. Anyway, where was I? Jay? Yeah, the joy. Okay? K. Keep the honey on the moon, gentlemen. Keep the honey on the moon. What do you mean by that? K, remember this, very important, guys. This is our locker room talk. The women are the cheerleaders here. And they know that if I say something, I told them to be calm, cool, and collective because they have a conversation going back home. But K, keep the honey on the moon. What I mean by that, go the extra mile, even if you feel that she never. Now, I'm going to flip the script now. There are some men that are doing the right thing, are up late at night with their children, are going to the doctor's office, are doing the things around the home to comfort their companion. They're doing the right thing. And oftentimes, they are bad agents They get all of the press. What I mean by that, bad agents, you hear about the bad dads. They're not doing this. The woman is carrying a big load, doing 100% of everything. But there are dads out there, believe it or not, that are standing strong for their families. They are taking on and walking side by side with their companion, raising their child with the special needs. Yes. See that? She said, he's right here. And I believe right there in this audience, there are men say, hey, I'm right here on his team too. And if you are, give yourself a big hand right now. Yes. You see, oftentimes, we don't do love what the love should be. Oftentimes, we are so wrapped up into the negative part. Anybody perfect in here? No. Anybody perfect? Because I'm not perfect. I guarantee you, if my wife was here, she would tell you everything, and my son's the witness of the challenges that we have gone in our marriage, raising our children, and to be able to navigate to different things, to be able to say, baby, it's going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. You know, there's a song that's out there it was about the Supremes. I said, listen to your heart and what it says. Anybody know that song? Stop, look, listen to your heart and what it says. Hey, stop, look, listen to your heart and what it says. Y'all know that song. I'm good. And sometimes, men, that's another one. Men, here's another locker room tip. Go to your companion when she least expects it and start singing in her ear. Make up a song. My Verna, you're so fine. I love you, but I don't drink wine. But I love you. Oh, you put the lock on the door. You'll be calling my name. Oh, man, ain't nobody laughing but me. Sing to him, fellas. Sing to her. Romance her. And you know, she'll reciprocate back to you. Now, locker room talk, men, ladies, put your hand over your ears. It's not about sex, guys. Yeah. See, as men, we interpret relationship tied in to sex. We've been set up. When women were coming up, they had the dollhouse. They prepared for their wedding in their mind with the dolls. And the guys, we weren't set up for marriage. We were literally winging it. The only thing we thought, yeah, she can set up the wedding, get the dress, look all beautiful. But I'm thinking about the wedding night. And after that, you go and say, what did I do next? And there's men, and I tell you, in 32 years of marriage, the only guide I had was the sacred scriptures to guide me to what to do, how to do, and to be able to navigate. You got to find that source to be able to help you, because men, I feel you, man. We don't know. We don't know anything about marriage. We weren't groomed about marriage. We were thinking, well, I'm a man, I got a child. But, you know, it's not hard to have a child. Then there's the R word, 2 R words. I'm still going through the tips here. You can get a copy. Respect. Responsibility. Respect. Men say respect and responsibility. We may focus on the sex, which is good, but at the end of the day, it's respect and responsibility. And if you are respectful of your companion, you are carrying yourself with dignity and honor, doing the best that you can do. Yes, you're going to make mistakes. Yes, there are going to be times when there's going to be heated conversation. Yes, you're going to say, I'm the man, I'm going to put my foot down. But you know what? Respect and responsibility is what lasts, gentlemen. And as we're in this locker room talk right now, once we go through that door, it's game on. This is a halftime talk now. Because it's all about respect and responsibility. Yes, I applaud you. You are providing for your family. I applaud you. You're doing the best that you can do from day to day. But don't forget that primary word called respect. Because there are going to be times, men, you're going to have to make a tough decision, and it seems like you're the only one in the room. And it's where that decision comes from. Does it come from your emotions, or does it come from your heartfelt love to do the right thing for your family? Bless the soul of my dad. He did some abusive things to my mother. I saw it. I heard it. I seen it. I became angry. I put my finger at him. I want nothing to do with you, Dad. I seen your behavior. I seen what you had done. But I never forget it. I was on a plane coming back from Europe, and I was in the military and served in Europe and coming back. And I told my dad, I want to meet with you. And as I was on a Lufthansa flight from Germany to New York and then taking the next flight to Virginia where my family was, as I was on that plane, something told me, a letter to your dad. And I wrote in that letter, Dad, I am sorry for everything that I had said about you, because I saw many things that hurt me. But at the end of the day, Dad, you were there. You said what to do, how to do, and I appreciate you being in my life. Who am I to judge you, Dad? For I'm your son, and I'm not perfect. So as I'm getting older and in the military, and they talk about discipline, they're talking about working together as a team, you did your best to keep the street a team together. Your actions may not have been good, bad, or ugly, but you know, Dad, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I took that letter and I folded it up, put it in an envelope, and they say, now we're about to land in Richmond, Virginia. Welcome to Richmond Airport. The plane landed in Richmond Airport. Got off the plane, walked out. My dad was there. Gave him a big hug. He said, good to see you, boy. That's what we always say. Good to see you, Bobby. My nickname was Boo Boo. Good to see you, Boo Boo. And I was at home. I don't care how many degrees, and I got more degrees than a thermometer. If I go back to Richmond, Virginia, I will always be Boo Boo. And at that moment, I said, Dad, I got something for you. So what I did, I got something for you, Dad. Didn't say anything about it. We had a good time together. We talked and everything. You know, I'm in the military. He's asking how things going on in the military. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Learn how to play golf yet? So I'm learning, Dad. You know, I can entertain people on the golf field. And then after it was a time for me to go back to my duty in Europe, I was at the airport. sorry. My dad said, I read the letter. I love you more, son. And when my dad said those words, all those years of seeing abuse, all those years of cussing and fussing and dropping me off to church and he going in his own direction. And at the end of the day, after he read that letter and affirmed, dads, if you have a child, affirm in them, look them in the eye. Ramon, I love you. You my son. I love you. I know you're destined for greatness. You may not see it, Ramon, but as your dad, I am so proud of you. And when you say those words to your child, it's like a whole new level of affirmation in their lives. And when my dad said those words to me, I always had a desire to work in broadcasting. I was gone because I got the endorsement. See, guys, you got power. When you endorse your children and love your companion, that's your power. And when he put that stamp of approval, I was gone because I knew that my father was with me. And you would say, well, Bob, I never had a father like that in my life. There's going to be somebody going to intersect in your life to fulfill that role as a father in your life. Somebody that can be that mentor. Somebody can be that encourager. It's going to be another man to come in your life and say, you can do better than this. You are destined for greatness. And you know what? I am that man to tell you men right now that you can go to a whole new level of excellence, that you are designed and made for greatness. You are the leaders. You are the legacy builders in your family. Don't worry about what you're going through with your child, because your child is a gift. And how you use a gift, you can present to the world the greatness that's inside of that child. Give yourself a big hand, men. Yeah. And when you start to affirm, what? When you start to affirm, look yourself in the mirror and say, and try this. Men, make sure nobody watching, because, you know. I want you to look in the mirror and look in that mirror and say, I love you, I love you, I love you. And guess what? You're going to start smiling. Because what happens when you say those words, it bounces back from the reflection of the mirror inside your greatness that's inside of you, and it comes out as a smile. Men, there are going to be times you're going to have tears. They say a man don't supposed to cry. I've cried many tears. I have cried tears like I'm doing the best that I can, and it don't seem like nobody's listening to me. But I'm able to have that affirmation that it's going to be all right. Be all right. You know, we have from A to Z. I didn't get all the way to A to Z. It's available. That's why I asked for your email address. But the big picture is that I want to hear from you and to communicate with you as we walk this journey together as men. Hopefully a year from now, you'll be able to say, well, Bob, I heard you speaking, and I took up some of the practical tips, and look at my relationship now. I learned something new about myself. And sometimes when I was in Virginia and in middle school, we used to go to Williamsburg. How many of y'all heard of Williamsburg? We used to go to Williamsburg, and one thing that fascinated me was the potter. And they had this potter in the clay, and this potter would do their feet like this, and it would go around. Anybody ever did pottery? And they would do their feet, and it would go around, and then the potter would say, oh, there's an imperfection, and he would smash it. And start out again. And that's the same thing in our relationship. Sometimes everything is just going nice and smooth. Then all of a sudden, there's an imperfection. And then the master potter goes, boom, we're going to try this again. And then at the end, when they put the pottery in the kiln, it's heated up. You're going to have pressure. Yes, there's pressure. Doing what you do, man, there's pressure. But guess what? A girl's best friend called diamonds are made with pressure. Y'all got to marinate on what I just said there. The pressure you go through, men, you are becoming a diamond for that companion. This morning, the richest room, in my humble opinion, at the Family Cafe, because this is a room filled with diamonds. Men that have sustained the pressures of the day. Men who have sustained the transformation of finding out how do I get into this room, and at the same time is molded into a precious diamond. I confess before you, and I know we got 3 minutes left. I don't want to be that man in the corner at a family reunion. You have your senior relatives, and they're in the corner, and this man that dedicated his life and literally built his family legacy, and he's in the corner by himself. I challenge you, men, to engage yourself first, the love of your child and your compassion. And from that love, the resiliency of your tenacity and love to be able to propel to a whole new level, it starts to affect your community. So my charge this morning to you, men, as we're about to suit up, it's the second half right now. I know it seemed that we've been beat up, but we're going to groom our offense, we're going to groom our defense, and we're going to go out there with a strategic strategy that we're going to score. And that we are already champions. And once you put in your mindset, men, if it be hell and high water, I'm going to make this thing happen. Call my family. I'm going to do all that I can. Sometimes I may be the only one standing in the conversation. But at the end of the day, I'm going to make it work. And that's what's called craftsmanship. When you find your niche of loving your companion, in spite of you may not get the communications that you want, you continue to craft yourself in love. And then that craftsmanship, that residue of craftsmanship, that skill of craftsmanship in your relationship starts to variate in your room. And it's like a peaceful harmony in all this. So with that said, I want to thank you, men. Once again, did not get an opportunity to go all the way to A to Z, but I think that I could see in your eyes that you're fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. And that you are going to let stop you. Negativity, if you don't get the praise and adoration, don't. Just continue to forge ahead. And when you do that, to affirm, I am an undisputed, undefeated champion. Can I say that again? I am undisputed, undefeated champion. And men, you got that now. That's the playbook. You are undisputed. You are a champion. And when you go out that door, despite the circumstances, whether or not smiles on anybody's face, you do what you have to do because you are already undisputed, undeniable champion. And when you do that, just be humble. If the children hold up a sign, "Hi, Mom," it's cool. I know it. I'm no longer DAD to my children. Now I'm ATM. But it's cool. It's cool. Cash App Dad sometime. But it's been an honor and a privilege to stand before great people as yourself. The multitudes of people that are watching today, I hope in the clarity of communications that I gave today that you are valuable, men. You are the ones that literally is the foundation of hope, the foundation of the creativity that you can do to nurture a marriage and a relationship. You got to be like Harry S. Truman. You got to say, the buck stops here. No more negativity in my home. If they don't understand that I'm raising a child with a special need, so what? Because at the end of the day, you are men. At the end of the day, you are excellence in action. And I hope that my heartfelt wish that I'm not blowing smoke, just the sound, you go to these speeches and people blowing smoke. I'm telling you straight up, it's a struggle. When players and football players get on the field, somebody may get hurt. Somebody may get injured. Somebody that did all the blocking and the running back made the touchdown. The Cowboys didn't make it past the second round, but it's all right. It's all right. So give yourself a big hand right now. It's been a joy. How we doing with time? We're good. Real quickly, one question. I got time for one question. Yes, sir, on the floor.
All right, so I truly appreciate that. So, I wish my wife were here with me for
Oh, we got the video. You can get the video.
she's here with me, but she's with the kids. So,
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody who's here, all the dads, because that means, they're looking forward to do something better for their family, which is great. And also the women who are here as a supporting cast. So, it's all good. And, it's very important what you just talked about, because affirmation is really confirmation. So, and because it says, you shall declare a thing, it shall come to pass, right? It shall be established. So, a lot of times I don't even allow people to come and start talking, negativity around my kids.
Right.
Because I always, and then sometimes they're like, you are too protective. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Your words, what you're saying right now is a seed. So if I do not really cut it right now from the roots, what's going to happen, it's going to bring bad fruits.
Yeah.
So you are basically prophesying, in a sense, on my children for the wrong reasons. So,
Right.
that's what I'm cutting everything I'm doing now. And I believe, our children, like you said, we should always speak truth to them. We should always speak, positivity to them, because the world will bring them the negativity always.
Sure.
And I believe our children should be our arrows. Meaning, where we are the ceiling, it should be their floor. So where we end, that's where they should start.
Right.
So if we do not speak that positivity to them, how would they ever be able to carry on?
Exactly.
So they'll never be able to get that torch to do it. So, that's something I think, that's very important, and you really honing on it, and, talking about, loving our, family and all that. I don't know what your letter V is, but I think vulnerability is very important, because a lot of times I think, when we let our spouse see that, yes, it's okay, I can cry, I can let you in, I can let you see, what I'm going through. It's not like the day was always great. No, today was bad. So, when you...
So you're telling me you really enjoyed this workshop. Thank you. No. Much love to you, brother, because what he said is a confirmation of everything that I just said. And that's why when we're in these settings like this, iron sharpens iron. I appreciate your iron, brother. And when we start to sharpen each other iron as men, transformation starts to happen. Change starts to happen. So I say as we close out that just keep on pressing. Keep on doing the things and pick up some of these. Say, oh, your husband, excuse me, man, he just talked about you. He said, I'm just married to an angel. Where is she? She must been in heaven, but she's coming back to get me, and I'm just smiling. Didn't he say that, y'all? Oh, man. I said, I got to meet this woman here. Oh, he was just talking about you. She said she got a shirt on to show how much I cared about. Look what that shirt. I mean, he was on the roll, I tell you. He got up there, started jumping up and down with the balloons, and he was talking about you and everything. He's going to be good. It's going to be good. So with that said, it's been a joy and a pleasure to be before all of you and our global audience as well. And I hope as you take some of these practical tips, go ahead and implement it in your life. And when you start to implement it in your life, let me know. Let things come out. If you're in the doghouse, that's cool. In 32 years of marriage, I've been in the doghouse. But it's fine now. My doghouse has a 52-inch TV, so I'm good to go.
So you can watch the cowboy.
I ain't going to talk no more. I'm going to go in my room. Give yourself a big hand. Thank you. Thank the global audience watching today. Y'all have a great day. God bless you.